This is Dash, and I know it's been a while since I've brought out the RC car and done a video. So with the warm weather approaching and you know, it being nice outside, I figured I would dust it off, pull it out of its little handy carrying case, and do a little video about what exactly I have, what I've done to it, what I've broken, things I've fixed. And I wanted to explain the tires, because when I bought my RC car, that was one of the things that I had the hardest time finding, was information in reference to the tires. There was no specific information I could find without looking very hard that told me exactly what tires did what and for what reason, or what point there was to buy the different tires. So the car came with a set of stock tires, okay? And the stock tires are these, all right? These tires here are like they're a hard slick, okay? Hopefully this is in the frame. These tires are a hard slick, and what I'm gonna do is, so I bought, these tires came with the car. And like I said, these are a hard slick. They work very well for regular bashing. Then I went out and I bought some plastic drift tires, right? These are the HPI Racing, whatever D1 spec drift tires. Went out and bought those. Then those tires were really good for indoor use and indoor use only. Then I bought these set. This is a Tamiya Type D drift tire, and this drift tire is like a really super hard plasticky rubber, I really don't know how else to explain it, compound, and this is good for outdoor drifting. Right? Then I saw I saw this set, and this was a wheel and tire combination that I had to put together myself, you know, with glue. All right, this set is a sticky rubber compound. There's a foam insert in there, and you have to you purchase the wheel and the tire separate from one another. And these are super slick. It says I think these are HPI Racing. It says belted super slick, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and make a video for each one of these particular types of tires. First, let's go over my car. So this is the Traxxas Boss 302. This is the Vienna edition with the VXL, which has the Super Vienna motor. Okay, brushless. All right, hyper type of suspension and all of that. I really don't know the ins and outs of the suspension. Someone better educated, comment on the video, take this to another one of your videos, what have you. All right, the body, as you can see, I do use my car, all right? It's rather bashed. I mean, I scratched it up pretty good. And this was the body that came with the car. So what I've done, or what I plan to do, was run it, and I ran it. And then I did another video, check the link there, when I bought a second body and I repainted it different colors. I painted it with a color shift paint. It actually turned out pretty well. I don't have that body with me right now. I left it at home unbeknownst to myself. You can see, I mean, it is what it is. All right, let's toss that off to the side. It came with this 2.4 gigahertz, transmitter. Pretty nice steering, throttle. There are a couple different, trims, and your throttle position. You can modify that. Pretty generic. All right. So the car itself, again. So what have I done to it? Well, the car came with it came with a high pinion gear, all right? So here's the low pinion gear, or the low speed gear, and I've already switched out the gear. In here is where the motor hits basically the transmission, and the transmission, you can't really see it because it's in the case, but this is the transmission. The motor hits the gears in here, and then it pushes it to the transmission, and this is what you can kind of see. This is spinning, right? The pinion gear goes inside here. Okay, hopefully you can, if the light is good enough. The pinion gear goes in here. You have to take off these covers, and you can see the gear, and everything is in there like that. All right. So what have I done? What have I broken? I've owned this car about a year and a half. So far, I've broken the steering servo. Okay, I replaced the steering servo. Now I live in the U.S., so here's the part number and information for the steering servo. As you can see, the steering servo cost me 30 bucks. It was kind of weird when the steering servo broke. It was like the car didn't want to do anything. I was hoping I didn't blow the motor, and it wasn't a blown motor. It's just when the steering servo broke, it kind of shorted out the ESC, and I ended up having to reprogram the ESC and everything. But once this new steering servo was in, it kind of remembered what it was supposed to be doing, and it picked up and everything was fine. As you see, I have the wheels and tires, no wheels and tires on the car right now, because I wanted to talk about the different wheels and tires I have. Okay, so in talking about the car itself and what I've done, like I said a little while ago, I replaced the steering servo. When that went up, the whole car just kind of shut off and didn't want to do anything. The only other thing I've really replaced is I've replaced the this toe link, front and rear. Okay, I was driving it and I ended up turning it into a corner, and the axle carrier and the toe link broke. So when that broke, now they do sell a replacement that's like an aluminum part, but as you can see, this part was $7. The aluminum part is like 30 for these 4, 2, 3, 4. It's like 30 bucks for the 4. I figured I would just buy these, and if I needed to, I would replace them at the time I needed to. Then also I figured since I had to replace the toe links, I would get the push rods. The push rods are what actually helps the suspension. You see that the travel north and south pushes this, and this pushes the spring and you know, everything there. So that's what actually makes the suspension flex. This is like what's called like an outboard F1 type design. Pretty ingenious. I mean, for something, you know, rather inexpensive. And the suspension has a lot of flex. Obviously, you can take these and you can dial them up or down. You dial them up and it stiffens the suspension. At the same time it stiffens the suspension, it'll raise the car, because this is pushing down on it and it raises the whole car. So when the car sits down, it actually droops. Okay, you can kind of see how the droop of the wheel. If I put a wheel on here, you can see that pretty much under the car's own weight, it droops the suspension. When you raise this up, it pushes down harder and basically eliminates that. So like I said, the car has adjustable height, if you will. Alright. Oh, the steering knuckle, or not the steering knuckle, the axle carrier. So again, here is the part for the axle carriers. Again, it's not a very expensive part. It was $7. It came with 4, you know, 2 right, 2 left. I replaced one. I think it was this rear one here. This is the one that like looks a little weird in comparison. Actually, it looks newer than the other ones. So I replaced that axle carrier, and I actually did a video on that. I'll put a link there if you want to check out that video. All right. I think that's pretty much the overview. Oh, as far as other things that I purchased for the car, when I bought the car, and a lot of people have asked me how much the car cost. The car, I believe, cost $200. If it wasn't $200, it was $250. Out of the box, it was ready to run. It came with 1 battery, the controller, obviously the body, the car itself, and these were the wheels and tires that came on the vehicle. All right. So for $250, ready to run, out of the box, the only thing it didn't come with was a battery for the charger. And I did a unboxing. There's the unboxing video. When I was in the store, the person that was in the store recommended I get a second battery because of the fact that it has 2 battery boxes, if you will, or 2 battery compartments. All right, opens up, battery slides in, it, you know, comes over, and you tie it all in together. At the same time they recommended I get a second battery, they recommended I get the Traxxas, you know, quick charger. This charger was like $30 and the battery might have been another $20. It was one of the best investments ever made. Okay. again, having the dual batteries obviously gives me the fullest potential. Now, one of the things that I didn't know was I needed to get these. This is the, hopefully you can see that and it comes out. This is the parallel connector, okay? The parallel connector, as you can see, it increases, it says that the capacity of the connected batteries combined for extended runtime. Okay, what it basically does is it takes these two batteries and it puts them like you have two hands, right? And the two hands are working together, right? And your battery time is doubled, okay? Now, I also at the same time got this one. This is what's called the series connector. What it does is it takes the two batteries and it runs them in series. If you had high school electronics or high school, I don't remember what class, high school science class period, you'll know the difference between running like lights in parallel and electricity in parallel and running it in series. What series does is it takes the two batteries and it makes them one, okay? And when it makes them one, it takes these two like 7.4 and they multiplies them to like 14 point whatever, 14.8, but I'm not sure if those are the correct numbers. And it basically doubles the power of the batteries. It doesn't lengthen the runtime, it doubles the power, okay? And you can take these and connect it to the connector here. And usually, I very rarely run this series connector. The vehicle is pretty much out of control. When you run the series connector with the dual batteries and the high-speed gear, it is ridiculously fast, okay? Ridiculously fast. So, as opposed to wrecking the car totally, I usually just run the parallel connector and I have an extended battery life. Alright. As far as other tools and parts, the only other things I really have are the basic tools that came with the car, you know, the little wrench, the Allen keys, and the little Allen key, and then the low speed gear. I haven't switched out the low speed gear to put it back in there and run with this because I figured it's pointless. Honestly enough, it was difficult enough to get the whole thing apart and make sure the gears were lined up properly. I just left the high speed gear in and went from there. Alright, so there's my car. There's an overview of the car. The car has been pretty stout. I've been bashing it, I've jumped it, I've, you know, done a lot of different things. You can see that the bumper's kind of beat up where it's hit different obstacles, and this is kind of where it bends up, and you know, it's kind of gnarled, chewed up down at the bottom there as well. I think that's about it. So now at this point, what I'm gonna do, like I said, is make 1, 2, 3, 4 separate videos talking about the different types of tires. Okay, so video 1 is going to be on the stock wheel and tire. All right, so at this point, go ahead and click on the tire and you'll be taken to that video. All right, video 2 is going to be on the drift tire. Okay, this is the hard plastic indoor only pretty much drift tire. Click the wheel and tire combination to be taken to that video. Wheel 3 is the outdoor hard rubber wheel and tire package just for outdoor drifting. Click the wheel for that video. And wheel and tire package number 4 is the sticky super slick rubber compound that I had to glue together myself. And obviously click this one for the 4th video. Alright, thanks for watching.